Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I'm out here at Shooters in Fort Myers, Florida, about to do the review of something really cool. I'm trying to make a short video because I have this little cool device that I wanted to make a separate review on. This is a dry fire magazine from TTrigger. Check this out, and this is really something absolutely fantastic, okay, whenever it comes to training. And by the end of the video, hopefully you will appreciate the full value of this device. It's only about like $100 on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. And what you get with this is you get the dry fire magazine as well, and you also get a set of springs, and I'll explain why. So for demonstration purposes, I have over here my Glock 17 Generation 5, and this is the magazine that works with a variety of Glock pistols out there. Like for example, this Glock 17, Glock 19, obviously all the 9mm Glocks, 40 Smith & Wesson Glocks, 45 ACP, 45 GAP, just a whole bunch of different Glocks. Yes, so you can get this for a lot of Glocks. If you have Glock and you want to practice with this, this is what you get. Now, this comes straight from Israel. Yes, actually Israeli forces, they actually train with something like this. So let's talk about the exercises that you can do. Let's talk about the training that you can do with something like this. Okay, what are the benefits? Okay, well, obviously, first of all, you think you're not spending any ammo. Okay, number one, you're not spending any money on the ammo with something like this. Number two, obviously you can practice, yes, on the range, or you can practice in your bedroom, in your house, or at work, or whatever. Just don't scare anybody with this, because you're using a real gun with not real magazine. Okay, so what this does, actually, all right, so basically we have empty, nothing in the chamber. We have racked slide. We get this thing in, and now what it does is the first trigger pull is the actual trigger pull of the firearm, all right? And then all the consequent trigger pulls are of the TTrigger dry fire magazine. Check this out. So what it allows you to do, it allows you to do multiple trigger presses compared to, I mean, you can always do the dry fire training with your, just regular empty Glock magazine, but first of all, you'll have this. Second of all, you'll only have one trigger pull, and then you'll have to rack the slide in order to do this. Here, none of this is the case. You can practice racking as much as you want, because it doesn't lock back, because this dry fire magazine basically imitates the round in the chamber the way it is constructed. I'm gonna lock the slide back and I'll show you what it looks like. Check this out. All right, so you can practice the racking, obviously the draw, the racking, and the trigger pull. Obviously, multiple shots on the target, or if you're doing a little bit something more advanced of the training, like for example, clearing the corners, clearing the rooms, close combat training, this becomes just absolutely fantastic. And because it is, this particular one is designed for Glock, hopefully we will see some more gun manufacturers that, this TTrigger can work with. But, I mean, being Glock compatible, this can be compatible with a lot of other things. For example, my Ruger PC Chargers hanging out somewhere here on the range, that one has a Glock magwell installed, so this will work with that as well. Or for example, you can use it on really anything that takes Glock magazines, which is a lot of stuff, not just Glock, as some of you already know. This will work with that. So I mentioned in the beginning that it does come with a few different springs. If you do want to set the tension a little bit higher, a little bit lower, lighter trigger pull, a little bit heavier trigger pull, you can definitely do that by adjusting the trigger. Also, I wanted to point out that there is an adjustment screw over here, and depending on the Glock model that you have, you might need to do a little bit of adjustment. Just start by slowly, maybe like 15 minutes, counterclockwise. Start with that, see what it does. If it doesn't work for you, 15 minutes, clockwise, and then 15 minutes more. if it makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense, right? My immigrant, limited English kind of explanation. But let me give you some exercises that you can practice in the house. One thing that I wanted to say whenever it comes to exercises here is that there's really no point of practicing mag changes with this because it has a little bit of a different feel compared to your standard Glock magazine. And the standard Glock magazine, it goes in a little bit smoother, right, compared to this. Can you still do it? Yes, you can, but if you are practicing a quick mag change, I would recommend going with the OEM, definitely OEM Glock magazine, and that, the mag changes. All right, so I'm gonna stop throwing the magazines around, and I'm gonna give you the actual normal exercise like a normal human being without making a mess. So, what can you practice? Obviously, the slide rack, one of the things. You're drawing the gun, you're getting in the firing position. Again, it depends on how you carry the gun. If you're carrying it appendix carry at the front, you practice the draw from the appendix carry, from the holster that you're carrying. If you're not carrying the holster, whatever, I'm not judging, right? You're practicing the draw from that position that you're carrying it in. If it's inside the waistband, for example, at the back, you're practicing the draw from the back, okay? So, you're practicing the draw, you're doing it, 5-10 minutes until you're very, very comfortable without even pressing the trigger. Now, the second thing, and I actually done a little bit more of a extended video, just expanding on the subject a little bit more, building those exercises more personalized, how you're carrying and in what setting you're carrying your handgun. For example, like I said, are you carrying appendix? Are you carrying at the back? That's one thing. Are you carrying with one in the chamber or you're carrying without one in the chamber? And again, we're not gonna get into the details in this video without any kind of judgment. So if you're, for example, if you're carrying without one in the chamber, then that's what you're carrying. Let's say you're carrying appendix at the front without one in the chamber, so this is what you're practicing. Draw rack, acquiring the target. So that would be building up. So now you're adding something to it. If you're obviously carrying without the chamber. If you're carrying with one in the chamber, then you're just taking it out and firing a couple of shots. So you can start by drawing and firing one round, and then, 5-10 minutes you're practicing this, and then you get into 2 rounds, drawing 2 rounds, drawing 3 rounds, right? Also, again, if you want to get into more advanced stuff, now you're practicing stuff like clearing the room, clearing the corners, getting out of the corner, firing a few rounds. You can definitely do that. So the amount of exercises that you can do with this is limitless. The only thing to keep in mind is that you still have a real gun, all right? This is not a toy. This is not, because other people, if somebody walks in right now in this range and sees me messing around with this, they don't know if I have a real magazine, a real round in the chamber or not, all right? So be aware of that. If you're practicing that, practice it, without anyone around. Also make sure that you don't confuse, which is another thing that I really like about the TTrigger, is this color. I mean, look at it, it's bright red. It's really hard to confuse it. Not only that, it also has a little extension over here, so you can clearly see that it is something other than your regular Glock magazine that is in there. Now, this built really, really nicely. You can drop it without any problems. It's really built like a tank, this thing. I mean, you can probably knock somebody out with this thing. But don't do that. It's made out of the non-rust steel material. Whatever, you get the point. The stuff here doesn't rust. So that's a huge plus too if you want to dip your Glock in the water and then get it out, I don't know, whatever setting you're practicing on. But it's built like a tank, and it saves you money, and it gives you a whole lot of exercises that you can work on to become a better gunslinger that you already are. So hopefully this review was useful. Like I said, the link is in the description below. If you want to learn more about exercising though, whenever it comes to the guns, whenever to practicing your gunslinging skills, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I started working more and more on different videos whenever it comes to actually improving, self-improvement. Okay, so don't miss those. Thank you very much guys for watching. This was Firearms of America. I'll see you guys in the next video.